Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, we shape and polish gemstones using a dremel. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. Today we're going to be working on 4 beautiful rainbow lattice sunstones, the first of which here has a really nice, chunky and colorful pattern. It's a bit of a weird shape and there are some cracks running through it, but I'm still hopeful. When we weigh it out, it is 11.81 carats. Then we have this piece here. It's a bit smaller, but it still has some good color to it, and this piece came off of another piece. I chipped it off. It is a bit thin, but it should be a good cut, I feel like, and it weighs 3.69 carats. And then we have this sunstone here, which has a nice dense pattern in it, a lot of gold, pretty primed to be a cushion cut already. Pretty excited about this one. Kind of just need to even it out a little bit, get some of those surface cracks out of there, and it should be a real beauty. And when we weigh that one out, it is 5.13 carats. And then we have sunstone number 4 here. It's got a lot of color going on in it. It's also dark like sunstone number 1. And it's really interesting the way that it's shaped and with the yield fracture in it. And all those rainbow colors really are really interesting. I'm excited to uncover what's underneath the surface of this one. It should be cool. And it weighs 10.13 carats. When we shine a flashlight through sunstone number 1, you can see there are some cracks going on, and it is a little bit of an uneven stone. Number 2 here, really clean, nothing too crazy going on. Number 3, also super clean. Like I said, some surface level stuff going on. And then number 4, a lot going on that pointed end, but that top end should be really clean. So if you guys want to see how these stones are shaped and polished and if they turn into gems or not, keep on watching. Time to go over game plan for our sunstones today. So there is 4 of them, as you guys have seen. I'm gonna start with this one. So this one has a really great flash. There's some good color in it, but the color is at a bit of an angle, so it will be interesting to try to get this into a good shape. You can see that the color shows up here, so I'm probably gonna try to face it on this side, and then I'm gonna flatten this out and kind of bring it down to here, and it'll probably end up being a teardrop, but we'll kind of see how it turns out. There are a few cracks running through it, so we will see how this one goes. It should be good, even if we're only able to get something small out of it. As long as we're able to get that color to hit the face right, it should be really beautiful. So there is sunstone number 1. Sunstone number 2 is this one, which is a chip off of a bigger sunstone, and you can see it's not as bright as the last one, but it still has good color, it still has good lattice going on. It's a bit of a thin piece, so we'll probably end up having this one be like a shallow oval, is really what I'm thinking about this one. And it's pretty clean because I did break it off of a larger piece, so that'll be a nice little stone, I'm sure. And then for number 3, we have this one here, which has really bright, really gold-based lattice going on in it. And it, too, is quite thin, but anything that we are able to get out of it will be brilliant. I'll probably end up shaping it in a cushion cut unless something happens to it where I have to shape it into an oval. And I might just decide to shape it into an oval. We'll see as I'm working on it, kind of how it goes. But it's a really beautiful piece, even though it's thin. It's got a lot of punch to it, so I'm excited to see that when it's all polished up and stuff. It really has a full face of color, which is really fun. I think all 4 of these rainbow lattice sunstones are relatively bright. And then for sunstone number 4 here, it's another dark one, and it also has pretty good rainbowy kind of streaks going on in it. You can see that there is a crack right there, but that crack is a healed fracture, and you can see that the color goes through on both sides. So basically with this one, I'm probably going to take off this part here and make a nice little cushion with it. And yeah, it has a lot of height to it, so there's like a potential there, but there are some non-healed fractures running through it, so I think that they will all be beautiful when they're shaped. At this point in time, I think the one that I want the most to turn out is probably this one. I really like this one. It has a lot of really good rainbows in it, and I think it'll be really cool if I can get it to work out. And the second one that I most want to work out is this one here, because it just has that full flash. I mean, it's really crazy. So I hope you guys like these stones as much as I do. I hope that they turn out. Let me know in the comments which one you think is going to turn out to be the biggest. It really could be any of them. I don't think it's going to be this one. But my bet is that the biggest one is going to be one of these two, because they're just the biggest in the rough, but you never know.
Alright, so the first thing I did with sunstone number 1 here is I utilized the flatness of this circular cutting bit that I have from Schiller to kind of even out and flatten out the back portion of this to make both of those sides of that piece of pie shape that was coming out of it flat and even. So this is what we ended up with. You can see there's still a little bit of a crack going on through it, but man, those colors are crazy. So hopefully they'll show up that good on the face of it. So I started bringing that down with my diamond sintered bit that I have here from Suva Lapidary. This is a 110 grit, and I went around all the sides first because I had that part that was thinner than the other part. And I was kind of looking at it as I was going, and I realized that I couldn't really make it a teardrop because there was a section of it that didn't have flash. So I ground that down, ended up with a ovular shape here, and then I worked on rounding out the face of that, and this is what it looks like at this point. Really nice. Pretty happy with this shape. Still a bit of a crack in it, but hey, look at those chunky color Schiller bars, and it's 3.13 carats at this point. Moving on to sunstone number 2, kind of similar with the last one. I went around the edges to make the thinner part, make it up with a thicker part a little bit better so that I could get a thicker stone overall. Shaped it into a nice, mostly circular shape, and then started rounding out the edges to get the face. And I did draw a circle on it with a stencil. This is it when it fit the circle that I drew with the stencil, and it's pretty nice, pretty happy with it. Then I went in, rounded out the edges to make it have a nice dome, and you know, it took a second to decide which side I felt like was brighter. I feel like I made the right choice here. This is it when it's been roughly shaped. pretty even all the way around. That's really the most important thing, is to make sure that it's even. And it's 1.78 carats at this point. Moving on to Sunstone number 3. I going for that cushion cut. So I kind of started by flattening out those sides and then rounding the edges. There really wasn't like a whole lot to take off for this one. This is it when I had the sides a little bit more how I wanted it to be, and this is the point where I was deciding which side I wanted to be the face. It's a little bit crooked all the way around, but I rounded out the edges to make the face, kind of rounded out those corners, and it was pretty straightforward. There was one side that was very clearly brighter than the other, and this is how it looks at that point. You can see that nice dense pattern. It's nice and even. Good pattern on both sides though. Really could have went with either side for the face, and it is 3.67 carats. And for Sunstone number 4, I wanted to cut that tail off of it because there's just nothing going on in that part, and I really want to make the biggest cushion cut that I can. So I sliced that off using the same circular bit from Schiller, and then I utilized the flatness of the slicing bit to flatten out the sides of the cushion cut to make them really even, and then I was able to make a nice flat back and face on it at this point, and this is what it looks like. And it's looking really good, but I do have a slight curve on this one side, so I will be making that the face. We're kind of working out those shallow cracks as I'm going, but it's looking really nice at this point, really colorful still. Then I went back on my diamond centered bit from Suva Lapidary to round out those corners again and get that face going. You know, it's pretty straightforward, just rounding out the corners of the face, making sure that I tuck a piece of it underneath my fingernail so I don't drop it. And then this is what it looks like. The flat bit really helps me to get a nice even shape all the way around that makes sense, and it's at 3.63 carats. Now moving on to my Nova points. These Nova points are also from Suva Lapidary, and I am just making sure to, on the first bit here, make the best shape that I can. So a lot of times when I am shaping, there is lumps and bumps going on, there's divots, and we want to try to get as much of that out as possible. Sunstone, you're going to have divots in it that correspond to the hematite inclusions. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for those and not just grind your stone away to nothing because of those. And also at this point for your cushion cuts, you know, you make sure that they are nice and flat on the sides. Make a good rounded face. You could, on these first 2 Nova points, you could have the stone with no face, no doming going on yet, and then dome it on the black Nova point to save some carats. Now you won't lose a whole lot of carats on these first 2 Nova points, but you can lose more than you'd like if you spend too much time on it, and especially with the black Nova point, if you linger on one spot for too long, it will give it a divot. So you do want to keep the stone moving at all times. I keep it moving in circular motions, and you're going to want to take a look at it, make sure that you have the right texture on the stone and that it doesn't have leftover texture from the previous Nova point, because once you've hit that point, it's pretty much time to move on to the next one. The brown Nova point's going to kind of leave like a bit of a hazy look to it. The black Nova point's going to have kind of like a sea glass look to it. The gray Nova point here, when you're finished with this piece, it's going to give it like kind of like a polish, but it's going to look a little bit smudgy. And then once you're done with the pink Nova point, it's going to almost look polished. But once you start polishing, you'll see that it's not fully polished. So you guys will see that here in a minute here. And if you want to forfeit a couple of these Nova points, like say you only want to buy the black and the brown one, you totally can do that. And they do have like lapidary pastes that will be a coarser grit, so you don't have to use the Nova points, and you don't have to use the water for the lapidary paste, but you will have to have corresponding felt tips with those. So say like I use several felt tip polishing pastes, and it'll probably be about double the amount of pastes that I use. So that's why I like to use the gray and the pink Nova Point, but you do have to use water with them. You do have to wear a mask with them. Whereas if you want to forfeit these and go with a coarser polishing paste, if you wait till the next day, you won't have to wear a mask at all with the polishing paste, just kind of glasses to make sure you don't go blind. But this is what Sunstone number 1 looks like after the Nova Points. You can see it looks pretty shiny. That's the finish of the pink Nova Point. And it is at 2.85 carats. Then we have Sunstone number 2 here. You can see that the shape has been really refined since the last time we looked at it. And the back is a little bit flatter and more even. And it is at 1.41 carats. Sunstone number 3 here. Really nice. You can see that there is still a little bit of a imperfection texture on the surface, but it's looking pretty good. And it is at 3.24 carats. And Sunstone number 4, you can see a crack has developed in the side of it, but it's got really nice flash. There's a really great Schiller, a little bit of odulescence in there, which is cool. And it is at 3.29 carats. Now moving on to my felt tips and polishing pastes. I got all my polishing pastes from Kent's Supply on Etsy. I noticed that he did change some of the colorants that he was using in his pastes. So if the color of the paste that you're seeing in his shop isn't exactly the same color as mine, it's still the same thing. I use the 5 micron up to 0.25 micron set, and he also has that set that has the coarser grits of the polishing paste. I don't remember the grits, but it like has like a black one as the coarsest one. So definitely go check him out if you're interested in lapidary polishing paste. And I'm sure that there are lots of other great places to buy the polishing paste from. My tips came from Amazon, but I have gotten different tips recently because I ran through these. But I dopped these sunstones with dopping wax that I got from 53 Frogs. And I'm just working on all the stones. I did the same thing. I start with the sides, and then I work on the connecting edge between the sides and the face, and then I slowly work in towards the middle of the face, and then I just kind of go crazy on the face until it looks about right. And with Sunstone number 3, there was like a little bit of like a slight crack, not really a crack, more like a texture on the face, and I was able to get that out for the most part on these polishing pastes. And also these sunstones, they came from Geckostones, who is a great seller. If you're willing to shell out for 1,000 carats, I highly suggest his eBay store. He's also got cut stones on his Etsy, so definitely go check that out. And yeah, I love this stuff. And this is what the finished sunstones look like. Sunstone number 1 is just crazy beautiful. Got super chunky Schiller in there. Lots of crossing going on. The cube kind of square shapes of the hematite inclusions is really cool. It's got some pretty good color. I really enjoy the dark body tone. The shape is great, and it's pretty even all the way around. When we weigh it out, it is 2.85 carats. All things considered, it's a pretty decent yield. We ended up losing 8.95 carats overall, which is much more than half, but hey, we got a beautiful stone and there's a crack in it, but it's still really nice. Then we have Sunstone number 2. Really great shape, nice polish, really round and really dense pattern as well. when we weigh it out, the final weight is 1.39 carats, which is pretty good. I mean, we ended up losing a total of 2.3 carats, so we were able to save like a third of it, which is pretty awesome. And the shape is great. You know, very happy with the shape overall. Like the dense pattern. Pretty satisfied. Like the tan body tone too. Then we have Sunstone number 3. And this just has like the densest, most bright pattern. It's really nice. The shape is great. Really like the low dome that it got. And it's at 3.22 carats. I think that this one was the highest yield, with it being at 5.13 carats. We lost a total of 1.91 carats, which is like a really good yield. We saved more than half. It was a pretty straightforward stone from the beginning though, but I'm still really happy with how it turned out. It's beautiful. And then we have Sunstone number 4 with its really bright rainbowy, super interesting patterns with the Schiller and that little like weird rainbowy piece in it. It's really spectacular, really different than any of the other sunstones I've seen, and it's at 3.28 carats. So we lost a total of 6.86 carats, with it being 10 carats in the beginning. But remember, we did slice off that tail that was on it. But this one has like this really cool freckling pinfire on it. It's got the lattice, and you can catch the adolescence in it also across the face. And it has that cool little weird kind of rainbowy fracture-y piece right in the middle by that healed fracture. And it's super bright, super dark, really spectacular, great shape, nice polish. All winners, really. Alright guys, it's time to go over my final thoughts for these 4 fabulous sunstones that I worked on today. So number 1 is an absolute stunner. It was a little bit of a difficult cut, dealing with that piece in the middle that was like a little piece of pie was taken out of it. And you know, we dealt with some cracking, but I was able to orient it the proper way, and that was really nice. It took a polish really well. Of course, there's a couple of divots in it, but you know, those directly correspond with the hematite inclusions in the feldspar. So yeah, no, that's fine. Number 1 has that crack right in the back, right where that piece of pie slice was coming in on the back of the stone. So yeah, I'm happy I was able to get anything out of it. Took a polish really well. Very happy with the shape. The pattern is one of the best patterns I've seen in Sunstone. And it's probably gotta be the chunkiest one that I have, unless one of the ones that I have is just hiding some really chunky hematite or magnetite inclusions. Super happy with it. In fact, it's probably my favorite. It's really hard to choose a favorite out of these 4 though, because they're all so beautiful. But for me personally, it's between the 2 dark ones. It's between number 1 and number 4. Number 1 and number 4 are my 2 favorites. But moving on to number 2. We got a beautiful shape out of it. It's got great flash. You may not have like a lot of crossings going on, and it you know, it's a small piece, but it is a piece that I broke off of a larger piece. So that being taken into consideration, it's a beautiful piece. It fits the setting that I have, and I'm very happy with it. The rainbow effect that it has is very rainbow. It's one of the most rainbowy ones of this batch. I think 2 and 4 have some of the most rainbow. 1 has some really good rainbow, like in the background, like the ones that hit the face in the middle are very silvery. Then around the edges and the ones that sit in the layer underneath are like really red and purple, which is so cool. I love seeing red in Sunstone. It's always like unbelievable to me. If you can't tell, I love red. But yeah, number 2, beautiful stone. I do like the light body tone. You know, I do prefer a dark body tone because who doesn't love a dark body tone? Especially with me coming from being an opal cutter. I do gravitate towards a darker body tone because all colors will show up better on a darker body tone. Yeah, very happy. Very, very happy with number 2. And for number 3, this one's crazy. It really is. The amount of flash that you get all across the face is wild. You have those blues and greens in there, which are fantastic. It's got like constant crossing going on all across the stone. It's beautiful. It's like really gold. It's got like peachy pinky red kind of chunks in it. And it is just crack-free, gorgeous, great shape. Took a polish really well. I really could not be more happy with that stone. It's a little bit thin, but it was thin to begin with. And it's so gold. It's so gold and beautiful, and it's not only just gold, but it also has the blue and kind of peach going on. It's like actually unbelievable. I love it. And then for number 4, but number 4 has those like little thin inclusions in it. It's like it has some chunkier inclusions, and then it has the really skinny ones, and it has a lot of crossing. It's got great shapes in it. Really has some great color. It's got the full rainbow. And it has the dark body tone. And it's a cushion cut. Like, it took a polish. I think this one took the best polish. It has the least divots in the face, which is just super lucky. My favorite part of this stone is the fact that not only do you get the Schiller with those fantastic hematite inclusions with the thin pieces and the thick pieces and the shapes, but you also get the freckling that goes across. And then you get the odulescence, the really white odulescence that goes across. And it's just phenomenal. It's really, really special. All 4 of these are really special. And it's been an honor to work on them. Yeah, and also, like, number 4 has that, those healed fractures that kind of run through it that create, like, the lighter stripes in the body tone. And then it has, like, that little piece right next to one of those healed fractures. It has, like, a little bit of, like, a blue-green kind of teal, and right next to, like, a little bit of red that catches when you're not catching the hematite inclusions. And man, it's nice. So beautiful. 4 winners today. Not a single one of these has been a loser. So, number 1, I'm probably going to keep as part of my collection. Because I really love it. It's I don't know if I'm going to get another one like that. So I'm going to hold on to it for a little while. But 3 and 4 will be for sale as cabs on my eBay. If you want to go check that out, go ahead. If not, that's totally cool as well. And I'm probably gonna set number 2 in something before I sell it on eBay. I really could not be happier with these results today. Really mind-blowing how beautiful these all are. And I hope you guys enjoy these stones as much as me, because I really enjoy them. And I'm so lucky to have had the opportunity to shape these stones and watch them come to life and watch them blossom into the beautiful cabochons that they came into. Yeah, really happy. I'm not just satisfied. I am like ecstatic with these results. And let me know down in the comments,
Which one's your favorite? Because, I mean, I might have my favorites, but everybody has their own preferences, and I'd love to know which one you like the best. Yeah, thanks for watching this far. You're awesome if you're still watching. Thank you guys so much for watching this far. I really appreciate it. If you are still watching, please give this video a thumbs up. Let the algorithm know that you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It would really help out. Share this video if you even just have one friend to share this with. Help make our community stronger. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. That would be awesome. I almost always reply to my comments. Turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.